DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. I got the windows down, so hopefully y'all can hear me. But I just saw today, I saw this post on Twitter where they said they unveiled a statue for George Floyd in Newark, New Jersey. And I also saw that I guess it's going to pass that they're going to make it a national holiday, Juneteenth, which is the unofficial day when a lot of black people are saying that this is like the quote-unquote Black Independence Day, when black people, specifically it was in the state of Texas, found out that slavery was over and therefore they were free, even though there had been statements issued way before that and there were black people free before that. But this is the narrative that people have bought into, that this is the Black Independence Day, which is fine. Nothing actually wrong with that if that's what people want to commemorate, I guess, or celebrate. And even the statue of George Floyd, if that's the thing that gets people, I don't know, whoever decided to build that statue, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who feel very strongly about the presence of that statue, but that's the exact thing that I want to talk about. That these kind of things, these celebrations, these things that are being celebrated are prime examples of what is taking black people, I feel, is taking black people in the wrong direction. It's taking us backwards right now. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. It's, as I said already, there's nothing wrong with building a statue of somebody. I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody to build a statue, even if you don't like the person who the statue is for. I don't think anybody disliked, well, let me not say that. I don't think anybody has a personal, not too many people have a personal dislike of George Floyd. Most of us had no idea who the hell he was until he got killed by that cop. And as far as the Juneteenth thing, Juneteenth has been known forever. That's not new. My teachers, when I was in elementary school, talked about Juneteenth in middle school. It wasn't a holiday, but nobody was pushing for it until over the last year after the summer of social justice and all of that. And the thing is, the reason why I say it's taking us backwards is because a lot of black folks, especially the people who are supposedly, allegedly leaders in our community, and I use the term loosely because these people are not leaders, because leaders move things forward. Leaders focus forward and they focus inward on their group and how the group can progress. And a lot of people that are being touted as leaders in the black community are not leading anything. What they're actually doing is they're just stirring up commotion. They're stirring up and drawing attention to themselves and certain causes, while at the same time, this is how they make their money. This is part of their hustle. And I call these people race hustlers. I did a whole podcast episode on this very topic of race hustling. There's a whole lot of race hustlers out here these days, and some of them are actually white, believe it or not. But when we talk about just black people in general, and I'm talking about the progress of black people, meaning moving black people forward to where young black people, old black people, and everybody in between can see black progress of people of color who are doing positive things in the community, moving the community forward, and those people being celebrated, touted, marketed, promoted. They're getting put on the front line so everybody can see, yo, this is the way to do it. That's not happening in our community right now, because the main reason that is not happening is because so much of our focus, and it's not everybody. When I say our, I don't even mean me myself personally. I'm saying the focus how it's being directed by white folks, by the Biden administration. We can give them credit for it. And a lot of the black people who are supposed to be leaders, but they're actually race hustlers, all they're focusing on are two specific things. Number one, looking backwards. This is why everybody's so excited about Juneteenth. This was something that happened in the 1800s. It was over 150 years ago that this particular date, when, again, a specific group of previously enslaved people found out that they were no longer enslaved, and now we had to make a national holiday out of this. What this is actually going to do for anybody? Nothing. It's not going to do anything for anybody. It's a symbol. It's a gesture. And I talked about this when I did my podcast episode on Black Lives Matter, and that didn't come out on YouTube yet, but we're going to put it out on YouTube soon. So stay tuned. Everything has become about symbols and gestures. All right, Juneteenth, making it a national holiday, when it's not like people weren't recognizing it before. I knew about it before. A lot of people apparently did not. It's a symbol. It's a gesture. It doesn't actually do anything. No black person is going to be doing any better in their life because we now celebrate Juneteenth. Nobody's going to be doing any better because a statue gets built for George Floyd, which is one way. In one way, you can look at that and say, okay, Dre, if you believe that, then why even talk about it? The reason why we talk about it is because the people who are supposed to lead us, again, I keep saying this, they're focusing our attention backwards. And the other thing they're focusing our attention on is anything that can get quote unquote racist white people, whoever that happens to be, anything that can get white people upset or cause the conservative politicians to be against it. That's the thing that a whole bunch of black people, race hustlers, want to be excited for. So if there are any Republicans, I just seen this on Twitter today, a certain number of Republicans, I believe it was 14 it was either the House or the Senate, I get them mixed up. 14 of them voted against making Juneteenth a national holiday. And of course, this gets promoted on social media by Twitter, who is run by a bunch of white people. You can figure out the whole hustle in that. But this is the whole game. All right, so these 14 people are, for whatever reason, against making Juneteenth a national holiday. We don't know why, but what are people going to do with that? They're going to take it and run with it. They're going to find out who these 14 people are, and now we're going to attack them. If that white person ever says anything again, we're going to be like, oh, you're the white person who tried to stop Juneteenth from being a national holiday. You're racist. And this is what people are focusing on, whether you believe they're racist or not. Whether you think they had a right to vote against it or not, whether you agree with them or not is not the point. The point is that everyone's attention is being directed towards them as if it even fucking matters. Who cares whether we make it a national holiday or not? Making it a national holiday is not going to advance anybody. It's not making anybody any money. Well, it's going to make some race hustlers some money. It's not going to really advance the cause of colored people at all, but people are so excited about it as if this is the main thing that we need to be focusing on. And the other thing is anything that has to do with the cops doing something bad to a black person, i.e. the George Floyd statue, when we know, by this point, you should know that statistically, when you look at the stats, what happened with George Floyd is an aberration. It's an anomaly. Now, I'm not saying that means it's okay. I'm not saying I condone it. And we already know what happened. The former officer, Mr. Chauvin, went to court. He was convicted by a jury of his peers. He's going to be sentenced to a prison term pending any appeals. So justice was actually served. Justice was served to the memory of George Floyd. His family got a $27 million settlement. The system actually worked in the favor that it's supposed to work. Now, of course, there are going to be people who say, well, the system didn't work so many other times. Well, look, we can't spend our whole lives looking backwards. All right, I'm in a car right now. I would get into a car accident if I try to drive this car looking in this little ass rearview mirror. I got to look through the windshield and move myself forward to where I got to go. Unfortunately, a lot of our attention is being directed backward and sideways. Backward at our racism from back in the days, slavery, whatever people want to label as racism that's happening today, when most of it is not racism. It's just things that people want to label as racism to draw attention to their cause and to themselves. And anything that can get whoever you consider to be a racist white person mad. So anybody who voted for Trump or supports Trump, they're racist. Anybody who doesn't go for any one of these black causes, racist. Anybody who's for voter ID laws that people have to actually have identification to vote, that's racist. Or even with the voter ID thing that happened in Georgia, people saying, well, this is a Jim Crow 2.0, that they're trying to make these laws and certain things got handpicked out of that bill that people put out and say, oh, they're just trying to stop people from eating and drinking and having water while they're voting. That is not true. If you did not read the bill, do not go and repeat talking points if you didn't read the bill. The bill is 95 pages of text. You can look it up. It's a government document. As a citizen of America, you have a right to read that document, and it's free for you to read. If you didn't read it, do not repeat any talking points you heard on social media about it, because people pick and choose talking points to push whatever narrative they want you to believe. And a lot of times they're being disingenuous. This is the person that I call a race hustler. So make sure you're getting your own information before you go repeating anything and you sound stupid to people who are actually informed. Now, there are not a lot of informed people out there, but when you come across one, they will know that you don't know what you're talking about. You're repeating talking points, you don't have the full information. Just as a side note on that particular point. So this is where our focus is going. All right, anything that can get a white person upset or uncomfortable, or a quote unquote racist white person. And nowadays, if you're white, it's hard to live in America right now if you're white around black people, because anything you say or do can get you labeled as a racist, right? Anything you disagree with the wrong thing, you're racist. You agree with the wrong thing, you're racist. You look at somebody the wrong way, you're racist. I remember I was in a clubhouse room months ago. This woman was telling this story, black woman. She said she was in a grocery store and she had a whole bunch of groceries in her cart, and some white guy walked by and he saw all the stuff in her cart and he said, well, Merry Christmas to you, because it was around Christmas. And the black woman said in Clubhouse, she said that means the man is racist because he was assuming that she was paying for those groceries with EBT, like welfare. And I said to her, what the hell does him saying Merry Christmas to you have to do with welfare? He didn't say the word welfare. He didn't ask you how you're going to pay for it. All he said was one thing. You assumed that he was being racist for saying that. And I was questioning her like, that doesn't even make any sense. And she actually, here's what happened. It was another black woman in the room. There was a couple of them. One of them got mad at me. And she started saying to me, well, it sounds like you're a black person who don't like black people. She literally said this to me when I'm pointing out that some of the examples, quote unquote, that they were supposed to be providing about racism. These are examples of racism. Here's another one. The woman said, same grocery store. She says that when people go to pay, if they got a whole lot of groceries, that the cashier automatically assumes is EBT, but if they got a little bit of groceries, the cashier assumes that they're paying with cash. And I'm like, first of all, how do you know what the cashier is thinking? And secondly, even if the cashier does take the action, like towards EBT when you got a lot of stuff, that doesn't necessarily make them racist, assuming this is a white person. It doesn't make the cashier racist. It means they're just going off the patterns that they see. If I work at the register and every time somebody got a lot of stuff, they pay EBT, I'm going to start assuming that maybe if they got a lot of stuff, it's going to be EBT. Am I racist? That's not racist. That's just pattern recognition. It doesn't make you racist. But the whole point was, this is what I was saying to these people in Clubhouse, and this is what I'm saying to y'all right now, is that nowadays there is not more racism taking place in 2021 than there was in 1951 or 61 or 71. What's actually happening these days is you have more people looking for racism. More people looking for anything that they can make the topic about race. Anything they can make it about race. All right. There's a black person and a white person. All right. The white person opposes to anything that the black person says, thinks, or does, or represents. Oh, they got to be racist. So now let's get excited about that. All right. Where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the government, whoever, Stacey Abrams, they're trying to push such and such bill or such and such idea on you. They're only giving you the talking points, not the actual details. When they give you that, if you're black, you're supposed to go along with it because they're allegedly for the black people. I'm telling you, a bunch of these people are race hustlers. You got to realize the game. Listen to my podcast episode on the topic so you can understand the game, so you won't get played. So any white person who happens to go against it or oppose it or even question it, oh, they got to be racist. So now here's more reason for us to buy into, all right, it's them against us. This is not what's actually happening, folks. This is what you're being told is happening, but it's not what's actually happening. So I will tell y'all again, I say this all the time. I've been saying this for years. It's not new. I've been saying it. I've been emphasizing it a lot more ever since last summer because I see all the hustling that's going on. Get your own information. Do not let people tell you what to think. Talk to and listen to smart people who can show you how to think and how to think critically, how to look at information in a critical way so that you're not the one getting played. But don't let people tell you what you're supposed to think, especially when they're trying to play identity politics with you. If somebody's playing identity politics, that means somebody saying, all right, you're black, so you're supposed to think this way. Or you're white, so you're supposed to think this way. Or if you're on our side, you can't oppose this, or you can't question this, or you can't say this. That's ignorance. All right, that's not intelligence. That is not blackness. That is not, being down for a cause. That is not about being about social justice or what's right or morals or any of the dumb shit that you hear people saying. That's ignorance. Learn how to think. Do not let anybody tell you what to think. There is a huge difference between the two. So in conclusion, just to recap my point here, that I feel like a lot of black folks these days, our attention is being directed backwards. It doesn't mean everybody's actually doing it. I'm not doing it, but I see the game. And that's why I'm making this video, because I see the game is being played on a lot of black people that are not critical thinkers. And everyone has the ability to think critically, but you must choose to do so. Because critical thinking is a job. It takes work to think. And a lot of people don't think. They just wait for somebody to tell them what to think, and they just buy into somebody else's ideas. The whole Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of these black activists who call themselves for black people, and they are being labeled as leaders, and they're writing books and hosting TV shows. A lot of these people are nothing but race hustlers. Their whole hustle is to get more black people who don't want to think focused on race, on whatever they happen to be talking about, and they're getting paid off your attention, even though they're not even giving you all the information. And a lot of times they don't have the information. They're just giving you what they want you to know so that you can go along with their cause, so that they can get paid. They're putting money in their bank account and food in their pocket based off your attention, and they're not even giving you the accurate information because they know and they're betting that you're not going to do the critical thinking to realize the bullshit that they're telling you. And I'm trying to shine the light on that to help you all learn how to think. And it's not about bashing any one individual person. There's a whole lot of race hustlers out here. I could name them, but I'm not going to name them here because None of them diss me, so I'm not going to diss anybody who didn't diss me. And secondly, it's not even about any of them individually as people. Unless somebody does something really egregious, I'm not really about dissing people directly like that just to get no attention or what you young people like to call clout. It ain't about that, because then it becomes more of a hustle, just that. Then is this person going against this person? Let's see what he said. Let's see what he said. Then there's more of the bullshit. Which is the exact point that I'm actually trying to eradicate and get us out of that. So learn how to be a critical thinker. I have a 2-part series on my podcast where I talk about how to be a critical thinker, how to know that you're a critical thinker, how to think critically when you're presenting information. So all the stuff that I'm talking about here in this video, I'm not just preaching to you and saying do this, but not, and just leaving you there trying to figure it out. I will show you how to do it. I have a podcast. It comes out every day. I think most of y'all know about that. The videos we start putting on YouTube again. So they're coming out. I got an audio show that comes out. If you want the new episodes, the day they come out is on audio, but the video comes out probably a few weeks later, each one of these. So I'm telling you how to do these things. You must become a critical thinker, especially if you're black these days, especially with all the propaganda being thrown at you by these hustlers who just want to control how you think, because they're making money off of it. They're making money off of you thinking the way that they want you to think. And they're not as intelligent nor as informed as they're presenting themselves to be. So I want to help y'all out, and I'm trying to create a movement of critical thinkers out here, if we can create enough of them, and get the bullshit out of the game. This is a whole lot of it out here these days, and I want us focused forward. Latinos, white people, even religions, Jewish people, immigrants from other countries who have come here, first and second generation, they focus forward. They focus on themselves. They ain't focused on, what's going to make black people mad, or what's going to make white people mad, or what's going to make the Catholics mad, or what's going to make the Africans mad. No, they focus on what they need to do. They focus on themselves, their own journey. Whereas with black people, all of our focus is being told, look at this white person. This white person said this person's racist. This person did this. Oh, slavery happened. No, we got to make let's get a holiday for this. Oh, let's get a statue for this guy who got killed by a cop. Didn't do anything to contribute to society before that, but he got killed by a cop. So let's make a statue for him. These are the things we're focusing on. Our focus is being sent backwards. We got to focus forward. The only way the movement moves forward is if you're looking forward. You cannot go forward looking in the rearview mirror. And it's a huge issue that we have in our community right now. It's only going to get worse unless more critical thinkers step up. So I'm recruiting you to become one of those critical thinkers. Hopefully this video is the start of that for at least one person who's watching it. Y'all know my name. My name is Dre Baldwin. I got a new book called The Third Day. The link is down below. I got a text line where you can text me. Tell me the best thing you got from this vid. If you got a question or anything that I can help you follow up with, or I can send you a link to any episode of my podcast that I referred to here, send me a text. It's 305-384-6894. I'll send you a link to it. Y'all know my name, Dre all day. Work on your game. Got it.